at a proposed motion from Councillor Jeff Banks, updates the procedure bylaw majority votes. I have it moved by Councillor Jeff Banks, but I need a seconder. Is there a seconder? Councillor Paula Banks. Whereas discussion took place on November 6, 2023 on amending the procedural bylaw, and whereas the intent of that discussion was to amend section 19.25, reconsideration, and 22.1, suspend of the procedure bylaw, was that those sections be amended to read, shall have the support of the full majority of council, which represents 5 members. Council of the Corporation of the Township of Rideau Lakes direct staff to bring forward an amending bylaw to amend sections 19.25 or 25 and 22.1 of the procedure bylaw 2023-48 to reflect the wording noted above. You've heard the motion. Discussion. Councillor Jeff Banks.
Yeah, we discussed this before, and I don't think the interpretation got put into the new bylaw, so this is just a thing that has to be done. We have a 2/3 in the bylaw now, was before if somebody wanted to bring something back and it had to have new information. Well, now anybody can bring anything back. So we're making it a lot easier for people to bring things back, but there has to be a control mechanism involved in that also. So if 4 of us were away, then 3 people could bring something back and turn the whole council around. And so I don't want to get back into these debates where we're asking for recorded votes on something that we voted on and it's brought back to council. We do the same thing, we end up with the same thing. So this was to bring stuff back. You need 5 people, and if somebody's got to declare a conflict, they're still part of the council, and I think that they should have their vote count even though they can't vote, and that's what the intent was, to bring something back. It's got nothing to do with changing anything, or it has nothing to do with passing motions at the table. Has nothing to do with that. It is only for things that are being back, which it says right there, for reconsideration and for changing the procedural bylaw. And I think all of council, because there wouldn't be a conflict there, should be there for that. And that's all this is. It's just a simple thing. We discussed it and we had agreed to having 5 there. Why it didn't get in, I think was just an error, but that's why I wanted it back on the table.
Well, I beg to differ with your interpretation, Councillor Banks. It's just, you know, we can't just keep changing the procedure bylaw every time we have a vote that doesn't go our way. And that's what this would represent.
Absolutely.
And for example, if we had 7 people at a council meeting,
Yeah.
what you're saying is, if 4 voted for something and 3 voted against something, that would not
No, that's
carry
not.
the day, because you'd have to have 5 members vote for everything.
No, that's not what it says here. It's for
No, this is not,
reconsideration.
this is very convoluted from what I'm reading.
Well, I think it's very clear. It says reconsideration 22-1. If we have a vote in council and 2 council members are gone, the majority takes the vote. If 4 members of council are gone, the majority takes the vote. It has nothing to do with anything except for motions that are brought back for reconsideration. It says it right in the bylaw. It says it right in that motion right there. It says reconsideration. I don't know how we can't understand that. And to suspend the procedural bylaw, I think all of council should have a vote on it, or a majority of council, which is 5. Because what happens is if 3 or 4 of us are gone, and I've seen where we haven't had quorum in here, then 3 people can run this council, and that's not fair.
Well, that has never happened, never would happen, because any time that there's been a member of council absent and a controversial issue came up, I postponed the decision on it. So let's be fair, we haven't had those kinds of votes.
No, but they could happen.
But it could happen, but it hasn't happened.
This clearly says motions for reconsider. It doesn't say, what
But this is
council
not,
passes
this
this
is
day.
not consistent with what 95% of the municipalities in this province do. Absolutely not consistent
Well,
with
what
that.
what's consistent with the municipalities in the province is they have 2/3 vote.
Yes, and we
So
don't.
why can't we change it from 6 to 5? It makes it easier for us to reconsider things. I don't know why the flow is against something that makes it easier for council to do the
Well, I
business
don't,
of the
you
day.
know, I think if we've had a controversial decision and a lot of debate and discussion on an issue, we should not bring that issue back.
But we do. We do it again and again and again and again and again.
Yes.
100 times I've seen it in the last 3 or 4 months. And recorded votes again and again and again. What this is allows for council to make it easier for somebody to bring something back. All they need is a vote of 5. That's all it is, changing the number 6 to 5. I don't know what the problem is with it.
Well,
Is it because I'm putting it on the floor?
no.
Well, it sounds like it.
It's not because you're putting it on the floor, it's because it's inconsistent with what I consider to be good procedure. I will go to Councillor Paula Banks next as the seconder.
The reason I wanted to tweak this bylaw is because we've had issues brought back to debate, and I'm confused why we debate them. Like, I think this is my problem with it. We're having people bring back issues just to get a recorded vote. I mean, we saw it during the budget. We saw 3 or 4 issues pulled out of the minutes to re-vote on, just to have another recorded vote. So this is the part I don't understand. Why are we debating the issue before we figure out if the majority of council want to talk about it? If we go back and look at the meeting, when someone asks to pull a motion to reconsider it, we debate the whole issue again. And that's why I'm saying, I think we should see, there's 5 people that support it before we debate it. But I don't know how to, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we debate the issue, and then we decide if we're bringing it back or not, which makes no sense to me. If I went back, we pulled out the electronic, or Councillor Maxwell pulled out the electronic sign, the pickleball, and one other thing, just to get another recorded vote.
Okay.
Excuse me, Sue Dunfield brought that electronic sign out for another vote.
I just watched a tape where you asked to pull 3 issues out so that we could have a recorded vote. That's, well, I'm saying anyone can do it, but I'm
Okay.
just saying that's what I saw.
Okay.
So my issue with it is somehow I would like to find out if the 5 people support bringing it back before we debate it. But I don't know if that's possible.
But if I may, that is exactly what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
The motion to reconsider should only discuss, do we want to reconsider it? You
Exactly.
should not be discussing how you're going to vote.
Pros and the cons.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the part I would like to tweak.
Well, that should
That's
already
already
be
in
happening.
place.
Well,
It's already
if
in
we
place.
go back, we debate.
I know, but I can't always control when a person raises a hand what they're going to say. They may
Well,
decide to wander
Maybe we
off the
just need
topic.
clarification. Like I'm not saying other people haven't. I'm just saying, to me, bringing back an issue just to get a recorded vote on it and debating the whole thing again, to me is a waste of time. So I do support the 5, but somehow I'd like the wording in there that it's just to speak to whether or not you're going to support bringing it back, not your stand on whether you're in favor or against.
Okay.
But I don't know how to word
I've
that.
got the clerk's hand raised, I'm gonna go to her. No?
No, I was going to say another part of that is the no new information.
Yeah,
Right, because that got voted to be taken out.
I know.
That's right.
So
But the new information could be someone missing, could it not? That's what
That's
the
your
purpose,
interpretation. That's
but
the
that's what
interpretation.
purpose is it
Yeah.
for me.
That's why it was taken in.
That's not that's not new information related to the issue at hand. That's just simply the fact that somebody missed a meeting. I'm going to go next to Councillor Pollard, who I saw his hand raised, and then I'm gonna go down the line here and catch the
Yeah, and
rest of
answer
you.
to some of Paula's concerns there. A lot of this gets discussed at our municipal services meetings or any other meeting, but it all ends up in a recommendation to council. That's why it comes up again in some
No.
cases.
Well, definitely.
It was in
Well, I don't see any difference.
Well, it was in the following council meeting.
Yeah. The council meeting seals the deal.
Final
I
decision are made
understand
at
that,
council
but-
on a committee.
It's the same as we're doing today. If you're bringing it back for reconsideration, we should just be debating on whether or not we're reconsidering it, not our position on whether we're for or against it. That's what I'm saying.
That's already
I don't
written
have
in
a
the
problem
bylaw.
bringing it back. I'm just saying, shouldn't be debating our position on it.
Okay. Councillor Delaney, I had you next.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship.
Well, you'll get to
He's
it.
going down the line.
Sorry, I
Yes,
No, I
I'm
have
very
maximum
uncomfortable with this motion. No disrespect to you, Jeff, but I remember back with the proxy issue that we had, and there was a lot of anger out in the public about that, because we were deviating from accepted practice. And now if we deviate from the 2/3 majority and go to a simple majority, we're again deviating, and I've already had some anger expressed about that, some concern. So I really do think we should stick with what is the accepted practice for this issue.
I think we're already beyond the normal practice by what we have in our procedural bylaw now. The staff will tell you that almost every municipality we know of was with a 2/3 majority, not 5 out
Yeah.
of 9, okay? Okay, that being said, I have Councillor Maxwell next, and then Councillor Hutchings.
Okay, well, as been pointed out, there have been changes willy-nilly made to the operation procedures over back to, I think that was November. My question is, has it been, I'm kind of surprised this has come to the table right away, when it was just brought up as a notice of motion at the last meeting. Have we checked with the province on this? There could be a conflict here in the municipal act. Does anybody know
There's no
for
conflict.
sure what we're doing is
Kosher?
kosher and allowed? Or are we
I'll
gonna
go to
end
the
up?
clerk. Perhaps she's had some discussions with the solicitor or other clerks.
Thank you. I have not had discussions with other clerks or our solicitor. Council is, at their own discretion, can make their own procedural bylaw. There are Robert's Rules of Order. If what is not in your procedural bylaw, you would then go to Robert's Rules of Order for that procedure. But you are at your own free will to do what you want in your procedural bylaw.
Okay?
Okay, well, follow up,
Okay.
Your worship. I just think here we're just, we made changes, now it's not working the way they expected, and so now they wanna change it again, and who knows how long it'll be
Hardly.
before they'll be looking to make changes again. I think it's a poor decision.
Okay.
I should have
Councillor-
left it as it was in the first place.
Councillor Hutchings, please.
Okay, so I'm hearing everybody else talk, but I really appreciate, and I'm not trying to put you in the middle, but what is really already there in this procedure, and then in English, tell me what is trying to be put back in.
Go ahead,
That would
because
be-
I can't explain it.
So I'll give you the wording that is currently in our procedural bylaw, okay? A motion for reconsideration shall be made in writing and provided on the agenda under new business to provide notice of motion and shall pass on the majority of council.
Okay, so somebody was talking over there and I didn't hear.
Okay. A motion for reconsideration shall be made in writing and provided on the agenda under new business to provide notice of motion and so shall pass on majority of council. So it's just a motion to reconsider something that's already been passed by council. So what the change proposed is that it shall pass on, where are we here, shall have the support of the full majority of council, which represents 5 members. That's the wording change.
If I can interject, I may be able to help out. So normally you would interpret the majority of the ones voting. So if 2 people had a conflict or somebody was absent, then your number shrinks down from 9 to whatever's left in the room, which is why majority is the 50 plus 1 of what's remaining. And that's what it can be interpreted as what's currently written. What I'm understanding Councillor Banks is saying is the intent back in November wasn't to be the majority of who's in the room at the time, it's to be the majority being 5 of the original 9. That's my understanding.
Okay, so that's good because I had there was a thing where you weren't here and when you came back, it all opened up again. I can't think of it. Was your thing?
My
Yeah.
integrity commissioner.
I'm only recognizing one person at a time, Councillor
Yeah,
She
Banks.
just asked me.
Yeah,
So-
it was, yeah, you weren't there because you were hurt yourself.
I was in the house.
And so then you came back and we had already decided on stuff, which I can't remember what it was, but then we opened it all up again for you to vote on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the night
So if
of
we
the
did
council
that,
meeting.
if we did that 5 thing, then it would just, nobody would do anything until there was enough of it. We don't have to wait and do it all over again. Is that right? That everybody would be here at the one time to deal with it.
Just
I thought it was-
thought.
If I can maybe provide an example. So say there's only 7 people here. Normally, the majority of council would be 4. But this will now say 5, so the vote would have to be 5 to 2 instead of 4 to 3, which would be normally the majority. So 5 no matter what. So if there's 6 people in the room, the vote has to be 5-1. If there's 5 people in the room, the vote has to be unanimous.
And this is only for motion to reconsider.
Reconsider.
Yes.
Yes.
Not every motion.
Yeah, not every motion.
Okay, so with me now, what's the problem with having 5? I think
Fair.
5's
I would-
fine.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm not
because-
saying
No,
anything.
I know, but I'm
It's
just,
not my
I'm just,
decision.
no, but you help clarify.
Yeah.
So like, what's wrong with 5?
It's only a problem if it's not the normal definition of majority, that's
Why does that have to be normal?
all. Okay,
Why don't we just
I
go
have
back?
Councillor Carr.
Okay. Why don't we just go back to the original that we had at the very beginning?
Well, that's a motion to reconsider.
Yeah.
Because what we had at the very beginning was changed,
And
the last time we changed the
have-
procedure bylaw.
you
It
have to
was
have
3/4 vote,
Yeah.
and it had to be new information.
And new
And
information.
both of that was taken out.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Why don't we go back to the original?
No.
No.
Okay, fine, forget it.
Well, and that was, that change, Councillor Carr, was passed on a 5-4 vote.
Okay, fine, no, but with all this discussion, no one seems to really realize what we're doing. So maybe they do,
No,
I
we
don't
do.
know. I'm the one that doesn't know what I'm doing, but I think, let's go back to the original, because it worked before. It just,
It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
So, what,
For
why?
years.
Yeah, and I think other townships use it too.
Yes.
So, why are we different?
We're not.
Because this council decided to be different.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Well, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, anyone who hasn't spoken, then I'll go through a second time. Councillor Jeff Banks.
Yeah, so, this is very simple, Linda. if I
Oh,
could
is it really?
address Linda? Yes, before you had to have 2/3 vote, which was
Yes.
6 of council. Changing it to 5, makes it easier for people to bring things back. You only need 5 people instead of 2/3. You can sometimes never hit the 2/3 council because you need 6.
Sorry,
So-
if I can interject.
Yep.
The 2/3 is based on the number, so if there's 9 people, then it's
Yes, you
2/3.
need,
If
you
there's
need
only
6.
7 people here, then
Yeah.
the 2/3 changes.
I'm gonna get to that too.
Okay, sorry.
So, yeah,
Just confusing everybody.
it's not confusing at all. I'm surprised that you said you don't understand it. You've done 40 years at this and you know well that you understand
I
this.
know it's the norm,
No,
but there-
well, it
this
doesn't
is not
matter.
the norm.
We don't have to go like Kitley Elizabeth. We're Rideau Lakes. We
Don't tell me I don't understand it, Councillor Banks, because I do understand
Well,
where
good.
you're coming from.
I'm glad that you said that. I'm not
I
coming
agree
from
with you.
anywhere. What I'm doing is making it easier for people to bring things back. We asked to take out the new information also, make it easier for people to bring things back. The problem is, there's 5 of us and 4 of you. And the comment made
That's the
that
problem.
they didn't,
You made it.
the comment made by Ken Maxwell that it didn't work for them the first time, that has nothing to do with it. This makes it a lot easier for people to bring things back. It also protects people when they're gone. If there's 4 or 5 people not at council, 4 people not at council, 5 people can actually change the direction of council. And there was a reason why that was put there.
No.
The 5. So now it makes it easier. So I don't know why you're against having 5 instead of 6. It makes it easier. And it's because we're not doing the norm. The norm what? There's a lot of municipalities that don't do the same thing that we do, and we're on our
Thank
own.
goodness. All right. Councillor
Well, I don't
Paula
think
Banks.
it's Thank goodness.
Thank you, Mayor. I was waiting for a long time. I heard like we do willy-nilly and we don't follow this process, we don't follow that process, but yet we skip the procurement policy.
Yeah,
But they're okay
exactly.
with that, so I find that comical. Let's face it, this was brought in because we don't trust the leadership to support majority of council's decisions. We brought the proxy idea forward because we were terrified to miss a meeting that the Portland Hall would be turned down. It's the same way I feel about this office. The majority of council wants to get a price to fix this office, and we're terrified to miss a meeting because we don't trust that the mayor won't bring it up when we're gone. And I do find that sad, but that's the reason why we're doing this. Because the majority of this council has stated over and over that we felt building a hall and fixing this office was the way we wanted to go. But I'm terrified to miss a meeting because I'm afraid that's gonna be undermined. So 5, 4, whatever, I don't really care about that part of it. The majority of council should be able to reverse a decision if we're not here. And that's, I don't know how to word that, but if I'm gone and you guys change your mind about getting a cost for this office, I should be able to come back and fix that decision. Just because I'm in the hospital or an emergency come up. So I don't know how to explain it to the public other than that. The majority of this council really wants to get a price to fix this office, and we're afraid to miss a meeting. That's the truth.
Well,
So,
just that-
how we fix that?
There's no proof in those remarks, and, because it's never happened.
Can I-
Councillor
point of
Jeff Banks,
clarification?
third and
But
final
that's not
comment.
how it's so
In,
happen.
in our procedural bylaw, there's three words. There's the majority, there's the full majority, and there's the simple majority in our procedural bylaw. So that's why something has to be changed. And the reconsideration was by the majority of council. But we have a simple majority and we have a full majority in the procedural bylaw. And that's why I'm asking for it to be described as the majority of council, which is 5. It's an easy number, it's easier to bring things back.
And for reconsideration,
and they-
I still support what we had originally, which was 2/3 majority
Yeah.
and new information. Otherwise, we waste a lot of time plowing the same ground over and over again, just not to
But
plant any seeds.
this will make it so that the 5, the
Should be.
majority of council, will be able to say yes or no for reconsideration.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Councillor Maxwell?
Thank you, Richard. I agree with Councillor Carr. I think, you know, what we had worked, and this is obviously not working, so I could support that. And if we're going to go with this one, I'm going to ask for a recorded vote again.
Well, the motion is on the floor, so that's the way it's gonna have to work. Councillor Dunfield, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have not spoken on this yet.
Okay,
This is my first
I know.
comment.
That's
Yes,
why I
because
asked
you have
if it
your
was a-
list and you stroke us all off.
I stroke you off as you speak,
Yes,
yep.
I would just like to make a comment that I have had numerous comments from the public on the support and the work that has been accomplished by this council in a shorter term than other councils in the past, and they are very happy to see the majority work towards getting things done. If this is gonna help, then let's reconsider with a majority being 5. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak again? Councillor Hutchings? Go ahead.
You guys aren't like this, but I'm getting to the point I don't trust anybody. And is there, like, if something's just simple to be done, just, like, what's the big deal? Do we just look at each other and agree to disagree with each other? Because that's what it's coming down to. It's not any sense of what we're talking about, it's just because you said it, I'm not gonna vote. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what bothers me about the council now, and I'm just making my thing.
Okay.
No independent thought.
Anyone else? I'll ask the clerk to call the question on this motion.
Can you repeat it, please? Oh, it's right there. Sorry.
Okay.
Councillor Jeff Banks.
Yes.
Councillor Paula Banks.
Yes.
Councillor Carr.
No.
Councillor Delaney.
No.
Councillor Dunfield.
Yes.
Councillor Hutchings.
I have to say yes.
Councillor Pollard.
No.
Deputy Mayor Maxwell.
No,
Mayor Hoogenboom.
No.
Motion is defeated.
Thank you, members. And we will now move on. We have 2 notices of motion, which are not up for debate today. They're simply there for information purposes, and they'll be on a committee agenda, I assume, in